To the right of the driver are the two application buttons for the brakes. So the yellow applies the air to release the parking brake on the tractor. The red releases the parking brake of the trailer. These are meant to pop out and stop the flow of air if the air pressure drops below 35 psi. So in the event of a catastrophic failure or loss of air lines, to protect the braking of the truck, both of these will pop out. That's called part of the tractor protection system. Alright? If a driver feels that he has better chance of stopping simply by pulling these out because they say things, well, it looks like an emergency, okay? The fact is, if he pulls these out, the braking pressure available is only that of the springs within the brake chambers. Most visibility has improved considerably on the trucks over the years. There's a significant slope to the hoods these days, and by the way, it's not to the credit of visibility, it's to the credit of aerodynamic and saving fuel, but it's a bonus that we can see further down the hood and closer to us, and the visibility through the mirrors is usually very good on modern day trucks. So the dash it starts to look like an airplane dashboard after a while, but there's considerable amount of information to the driver at all times. First, there's usually a warning system. There's details of fault codes or issues pertaining to pressures. You can see all the warning lights that appear. So there's good visibility for the driver to find out that there's an issue somewhere on the truck. The information on the gauges is good as he's running. He's probably not going to stare at these gauges as he's driving, but he can tell even if his transmission is starting to heat up, oil pressure for the engine, oil temperatures, water temperatures, the volts. Again, he'll probably notice more if there's a fault code shows up on his dash than if the gauge is low, but it's available. But these are the two biggies. These are the air pressure that's available, both primary and secondary tanks, and those are indicated simply just because that's what they are. The primary tank is where the air pressure is first built up, and then once a safety level of 65 psi is reached, the air pressure will transfer to the secondary tank, and that secondary tank is used mainly for accessories like our seat and other air operated accessories on the truck that are not primary to the braking system. To the right, significant amount of switches, and today's trucks, and I say that within the past 3 to 5 years, are multiplex, very similar to the electronic systems of the modern day office phone. So these switches can easily be changed to do another function and then programmed through the truck's computer to perform that instruction. So the dash of this truck may not have the same features as the dash to the truck parked next to us that was programmed in a different fashion and has other features that were paid for. And you can see there's locations for even more gauges. The shift pattern for the transmission is usually somewhere within the cab. That becomes important because that's going to give us information about the transmission that later may be important when we're discussing how fast this truck really was going and how fast could it go. So the transmission shift ratios are available to us. There is a Bendix brake monitor on this dash, but within the truck, the brakes are controlled with a brake module, and that's one of the modules that provides availability of data after a crash or after an event. So that would be one location that we would tap into during a data extraction to see what was happening with the brakes at the time. Was there a fault? Was there a roll stability event? And most of those brake controllers today are within the cab. Many of them are underneath the cab attached to the frame.